So is Donald Trump going to get away with it again and maybe even win 2020? Hope you find this fascinating. Check it out. Leave your comments, ding the bell, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. So can the grifters be stopped? Happy Monday. It's 4/20. Yes, it's April 20th. It's that day. And if you live in a state that has legalized recreational pot, or you can easily get medicinal pot, have a toke this afternoon on me. Congressman Ro will be with us for the second hour of our program. He'll be here for the entire hour taking your calls. He is the co-chair of the the vice chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, and he represents basically Silicon Valley in the state of California in the U.S. House of Representatives. In our third hour, our old buddy Greg Palast is going to drop by. This is the 10th anniversary of the British Petroleum's second blowout at the Deepwater Horizon. There's a whole, Greg refers to it as a secret history. Excuse me. So we will be getting to that. So there's a lot going on. But I wanted to start out just asking the question, do you think they're going to get away with it? I really think this is like the question of the day or of the year or of the month or something. Are these grifters in the Trump administration going to get away with this? I mean, let me lay it out. Trump and Fox News and the nation's billionaires, I was interested to hear this morning on NPR, they actually did a story about how these open the country movements are actually basically being run by people from FreedomWorks or affiliated with FreedomWorks. The Koch brothers right-wing group that did the Tea Party. The anti-Obamacare TV. No, we don't want no stinking health care. Now it's, yes, we want to die from the coronavirus. It's like, okay, so they're all working together, and they're making, in my opinion, a huge bet. Back in 2000, when Mike Pence was writing op-eds for his local newspapers in Indiana, when he was a talk show host, and actually, it might have been when he was a congressman, whatever it was. In 2000, he was writing op-eds saying tobacco doesn't cause cancer. Of course, his family owned a series of fast food stores called Tobacco Row that have since gone out of business. It was Mike Pence, of course. But anyhow, he was telling people in Indiana, tobacco doesn't cause cancer. Don't worry, be happy. Go ahead and smoke. Or words to that effect. And, he was never held responsible for that, even though thousands of people probably in Indiana died as a result of his advice. When Donald Trump and the coal lobbyist that he put in charge of the EPA said, hey, this pesticide that we know causes neurological damage in children and probably causes cancer, we're going to let it back into the market, even though it's banned in pretty much every other country in the world. But it's really profitable. It's cheap to manufacture, and they sell it really expensively because it's EPA regulated. So it's a big profit item for our big, chemical company donors. When Trump and his EPA guy, the coal lobbyist said, yeah, we're gonna put poison back into the American food supply, producing cancer and neurological diseases. Odds are these guys will never be held responsible for that. Cancers don't pop up with a little flag that says, I'm here because Donald Trump deregulated the EPA. When Steve Mnuchin, Robo signed thousands, perhaps tens of thousands of phony mortgage documents in order to steal homes from people in California back when he was known as the foreclosure king, and Kamala Harris, she had a clear, open window, great opportunity to throw his ass in jail. Ultimately decided not to. He not only got, bore no responsibility for that, he got to be Treasurer of the United States. His signature is on your money. When Fox News was promoting the Tea Party, and of course, the Kochs and all these other right-wing billionaires, when they were promoting the Tea Party campaign to stop Obamacare, to stop the expansion of Medicaid, and Harvard University came out and said, there's 40,000 Americans are going to die if you don't expand these programs. But they were successful. The red states still don't have Medicaid. Florida still doesn't have it. And they're about to have an explosion of coronavirus down there. Well, when that happened, nobody was held responsible. Fox News wasn't held responsible. Nobody sued them. When Charlene Dill died, when Rick Scott was governor, refusing to expand Medicaid, who cares, right? It's just a mother of three. She doesn't have much money. She makes a living cleaning houses, after all. So nobody went after Fox for that. So these same guys, are now betting that they can successfully politicize the coronavirus. And number one, get themselves reelected. And number two, get their hands on a big chunk of this federal stimulus money. And they're betting that they won't be held responsible for that either. I mean, Trump made a big bet 3-4 months ago when he decided that it was better to ignore the coronavirus than prepare for it. That was back in November of last year when he was first told about it, or when the White House was first told about it. We don't have the actual, smoking gun that he was told, but, if he wasn't, that's a sign of mass incompetence and stupidity on top of that. We know in December he was told about this. I mean, basically the world was told about it. We know in January he knew how bad it was and how bad it could get. But he decided to do happy talk. Oh, no problem. Oh, we've only got one case. It's completely under control. Mnuchin and Wilbur Ross. I mean, all these guys, it's airtight. Don't worry. That was Larry Kudlow, his economic advice. It's airtight. Don't worry. They placed this bet 3-4 months ago, and now the bet didn't pay off. 40,000 Americans are dead. But is Trump being held responsible for those 40,000 deaths? I mean, outside of Weijia Zhang, I hope I'm not mispronouncing her name. She was the CBS News correspondent who really gave Trump a grilling in the White House this weekend. And her voice was just like, I can't believe you did this. And God bless her. We need actual reporter. If the media is going to continue this Trump BS show, we need reporters who are actually going to hold him to account, and not 1 out of 20. So these grifters, these political criminals, they're doubling down on their bet that they can simply BS their way through this whole thing and succeed. And that the Republicans will get reelected, and they'll continue to hold the Senate, and that Trump will get the White House, and all. I mean, this is their bet. And Greg Palast was on here last week. He'll be on, as I mentioned, in our third hour today. He was on here last week. He's got a new book out. It's called How Trump Stole 2020. I mean, there are some people who are betting he's going to get away with it. Like the old Firesign Theater, like he did it again. Right? Is that how this is going to play out? Or is this going to be like Herbert Hoover? Herbert Hoover didn't have a coronavirus. He had an economy. He had the stock market had collapsed, and then that spread to widespread unemployment throughout the economy that took us into the Great Depression. The crash happened in the fall in October of 1929, and by November, December, January of 1930, the country was sliding into a depression, as we are doing right now. We are sliding into another depression. Not a recession. This is not going to be 2009. This is going to be 1930. The question is, how long is it going to last? And it's going to last a while based on how the Trump administration responds to it. And so far, their response has been entirely lacking, entirely wanting. We're getting happy talk and BS. So do you think that they can pull it off? I'm pretty skeptical, actually. I think that they're going to be called on this thing. But we'll see.